On the line with us right now is Lisa Stiffler. She is the Senior Policy Counsel at the Center for Responsible Lending. The website is responsiblelending.org. The Twitter handle CRL Online. And Lisa, welcome to the program.
Hi, Tom. Thanks for having me this afternoon.
Thanks for joining us.
This morning for you, I guess.
You know, this is fascinating stuff, and you know, you sent us a note, or somebody from your office sent us a note saying that this was totally flying under the public radar, and you're absolutely right. It was flying under the radar so much that I was unaware of it. Tell it the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, has, which is responsible for making sure that we don't get robbed by companies and people in the finance industry, banksters and investment advisors and things like that. They are rewriting their, quote, debt collection rule. First of all, what is the debt collection rule? And secondly, what is this rewrite? Why should we all know about this? Why is this such important stuff? So
one of the key reasons why this is important is this rule that they are proposing is the first ever federal rule related to debt collection practices. We have a federal law, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, that was enacted in 1978. It has not substantially been updated since then. So and the CFPB was the first federal agency to have oversight over rulemaking related to that law. And so this rule proposal represents that first attempt to write a rule. And one of the key concerns about some of the sort of rollbacks that we've seen when they had considered some of the proposals a couple of years ago, it wasn't an official proposed rule, but in this proposed rule that we have now, they have weakened some of the provisions that they were originally considering a few years ago.
So, specifically, what will this mean for the average person who might find themselves on the receiving end of a debt collector?
Right. So, one of the biggest concerns we have is that this proposal will create an environment whereby collectors will be able to continue harassing people, everyday people, whether they owe a debt or not, just whomever they're pursuing, and it'll allow them to continue an environment of harassment legally. It'll allow 7 calls a week per debt owed, and then it'll also, for the first time, authorize the use of email, texting, and private social media without a consumer's consent and without real limits.
So not only can they call you once a day to harass you, but now they can stalk you on Facebook, basically?
Well, private messages, yes.
Right.
They will, and one of the things to underscore about the one call a day is most people have more than one debt. If many people are struggling to make ends meet and live day to day. And so a lot of people are, the debts that they have are just because of living everyday life, whether it's to try to, pay for groceries, or they have a medical bill that they weren't expecting from a hospital visit. And many times those hospital visits result in multiple accounts and multiple debts. So one visit can result in 7 accounts, and 7 calls a week per debt is 49 calls a week.
Wow. And is this the result of any sort of philosophical position that the Trump administration and the Republican Party have taken, or is this simply another example of how an industry, with the approval of the Supreme Court through Citizens United and Buckley and whatnot, other decisions, how an industry can basically walk into Congress, buy a bunch of politicians, walk into the Trump White House, buy the Trump administration, and say, here's a bunch of money, now do what we want?
Well, we definitely have seen and have significant concerns about the way the leadership at the CFPB has proceeded in the past 2 years under the Trump administration. And we feel like the debt collection proposal is another example of the agency failing at its mission to protect consumers and instead protecting industry. So we definitely worry that this is in line with that.
Mick Mulvaney was this, cokehead Koch brothers owned Republican state not state representative, U.S. representative, congressman. And Trump put him, he's now Trump's chief of staff, but wasn't he in charge of the CFPB for a while?
He was acting director of the CFPB for a while until the current head is Kathy Kraninger.